Hi all, this is Johnny Crass coming to you with something a little new. Now, you may know of the Sustainable Center and his videos, and he's been trying recently to do a series of Tacticia videos for Warhammer Fantasy and Warhammer 40k. Both beginner and advanced tips, list building tips, and overall gaming tips. And I kind of told him that I'd help out. So here's what I'm going to be doing for a little while at least. I'm going to be taking a leaf out of the Joey Berries books and doing the lores of magic, covering them from pretty much my point of view, and just going over how I think they should be played, what kind of armies utilize them well, and that kind of stuff. So we're going to start out in the middle, because that's always the fun place to start out, with lore metal. Now, only a handful of armies can actually take metal. I can think of 5. Dark Elves, Lizardmen, High Elves, Empire, and Chaos Dwarves? Don't think I'm forgetting anybody. Yeah, so not very many armies can take lore metal. And it's because it's kind of this really obscure lore. Though it does, I've been using it a lot and I love it. And I'll go over why I love it here in a little bit. So first off, the lore tribute. Lore tribute is kind of a wall of text, but it's mainly just explaining the lore tribute, because it's a little different. It's called metal shifting, and pretty much the way lore metal deals damage is based on your armor save. So if you have a 5-up armor save, it'll wound you on a 5-up. 2-up, it'll wound you on a 2-up. Completely negates your armor, because otherwise it would never make any sense. And it's flaming. That's pretty much lore tribute's metal's lore tribute. There we go. In a nutshell. So moving on from that. Searing Doom, signature spell. D6 hits, 24-inch range, cast on a 10+, can be boosted to 2d6 hits. This is great for the armies that don't have a way to deal with the new monstrous cav spam. Don't have a way to deal with just anything with a good armor save that's not Dragon Princes. Because Dragon Princes laugh at lore metal, but that's for another video. Works on scaly skin, so the nasty old bloods on their little cold ones who run up and just wreck your face are going to go down to this. Completely negates the pendant save, so the Dark Elf Pendant Lord can go down to this pretty hard. And overall, it's good against some things that some armies, like an Infantry Empire army, can't deal with Mournfang, and this is good for Mournfang. So, that kind of stuff. Now, the next spell is number 1, is Plague of Rust, cast on a 7+, so right away not that bad. Hex, 24-inch range, you lower their armor by 1 point for the rest of the game. This is good if, you've gotten Searing Doom off once or twice, but you really need a way that those monsters cav are coming into you and there's no way you can drop them fast enough. This can start pegging away at their armor and making it so you can handle them in close combat. Because a Demigryph Knight, once he's down to a 3-up or a 4-up, he's like an Iron Gut, and he's pretty easy to kill. So, yeah, there's that. It's not that bad of a spell. It can be boosted relatively easy, so you can cast it sooner. Would be helpful on a steam tank, maybe. It's a good spell. It's not a great spell, but alright, next one is one of the real gems of this lore, in my opinion. Enchanted Blades of Abian. Cast on 9+, 24-inch augment. +1 to hit with shooting in close combat. And magical and armor piercing. +1 to hit's good. It's good. But that's not why the spell's great. The spell is great for magical and armor piercing. Armor piercing, once again, to help you with all this tough high armor save targets. And magical to help you deal with ethereal, because ethereal's still really popular amongst vampire counts players. And some armies just don't have a way to handle ethereal. So there's that. Next is the glittering robes, which is amazing for some armies. It cast on 9+ augment. It only has a 12-inch range, which is worrying, but it can be bubbled to all friendly units. Cast on a 16+, so that's pretty easy. Gives you a 5-up scaly skin that stacks with your armor. So that unit of great swords you have can go down to a 1-up armor save. Or, no, 2-up armor save, sorry about that. Which is fantastic for great swords. It makes them really durable in their stubborn stacks. That's great. Yeah, as you can tell, I have a little bit of allergies going on. 4 is Ganaeus Golden Hounds. Cast on 9+ direct damage, 12 inches. Choose a single enemy model within range. Takes d6 hits. But the character is allowed to make a lookout, sir, for each hit. Now, originally, I thought this spell was garbage. Because I'm like, it's a snipe spell that lets you make lookout, sirs. But I've since realized, after playing a couple tournaments with and against metal, that the unit will then suffer the d6 hits. So it's a clever way to get another Searing Doom into your list. Because people will always take the lookout, sirs, because they're trying to protect their character. And you can just have it splash more damage onto the rest of the unit. So it's not bad. It can be boosted and ranged to 24. That's the only real bummer bit about this spell is its range. And maybe they fail a couple lookout sirs and you grab a character out of it too. Unless they're wearing Dragon Helm or have a Dragonbane gem, but that's different. Spell after that, Transmutation of Lead. Hex with 24 inches, cast on 12+, -1 ballistic skill, weapon skill, and armor save. Till your next magic phase can be boosted to a 48. I wish it was -1 to hit. -1 weapon skill and ballistic skill is really not that great. It's kind of a bummer spell. But it synergizes well with Enchanted Blades, Plague of Rust. So, I suppose there's that. And then finally, what I consider to be the best 6 spell in the Big Red Book, besides, of course, Mind Razor, because Mind Razor is amazing, is Final Trance. Now, it's a direct damage, 18-inch range. Roll d6 for every model and target unit. On a 5+, they're removed as a casualty, no saves. Models with more than 1 wound are only affected on a 6. So it's hard to snipe characters. It's not dwellers. But its next effect is fantastic for tournament play. In addition, any enemy unit within 12 inches of the target at the start of their following turn must test for stupidity in order to overcome the Lure of the Riches. Now, and you can boost Final Trance range. Now, what this does is you have stupidity before your magic phase as well. So during your turn, all those units within 12-inch range have stupidity. So what that means is they're ITP. And what that means is they can't flee. So drifting off there. So the Empire Cav lists can make it so you can lock units down because they're stupid. So they can't flee anymore. So you can lock units down so they're not double fleeing your Cav Star anymore. Which means you can bring your Cav Star in and start having it pay for its points. So, yeah, overall the spell's fantastic. I've had it used against me a number of times. With, like, my Wood Elves. I've used it a number of times. And it's just a great spell. So, that pretty much wraps up this video. I'm going to be doing another one shortly If you like it, please let me know. Comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Um, I'm gonna start improving on these. I'm probably not gonna go the makeup and wig route that the Joey Berry did, because I'm not as attractive as her, and none of you want to see me in a wig. But I am gonna start doing, start making these a bit more elaborate. So until next time, this is Johnny Crass. Go check out the Joey Berry and the Sustainable Center, and Luke Davis and Tom Richards and all those other great videos. Once Bitten too. Everyone should check out Once Bitten. He's amazing. And Mobius Primal also, because why not? All right. Until next time.